Again, welcome to C++ programming language. In these lectures, we are going to continue with functions. In our previous lectures, we learned how to declare function, also how to use a function and what function consists of. So here we continue with sending data into a function. Normally, we can send the data into a function by using the arguments or the parameters. So for example, here we have a function named POW or power. The values we have is A and B. So A and B also can be called the parameters or argument. And that's what the function is going to use to solve a problem. So here we say can pass values into a function at the time of call when the function is called. Either it's called by another function or in the main function. Also, values passed to function are arguments, and also variables in a function that all the values passed as argument are parameters. Now we have example here, a function named display value. It takes argument of int num, and the returning type is void, which means it's not expecting no returning value. So here the function is the value is, whatever the num is when we call it, will be printed. So we have example here, a function named display value. Again, this is our function prototype or function declaration. In the main function, we use the cout to print a statement saying, I am passing 5 to display value. Then we call the function display value. The argument is 5. And we have another cout statement. So this means whatever the function is doing is what is going to happen in the main. So the function is saying the value is 5. So we can see the output, the value is 5. And let's go back. So first we have our cout. I'm passing 5 to display value. The display value function is called, and the display value function prints a statement. The value is 5 because the argument is 5. Now, for each function argument, the prototype must include the data type of each parameter inside its parentheses. So that's the example here. When we declare a function or the function prototype, we really don't have to include the variable name or the parameter, just the type. So we can have void, even or odd, int. Then here, this is our function header. We need to include the variable or the parameters. Then when we call the function, we do not include the void or the returning type, just the function name and the argument. And this argument can be actual value or a variable name where the content of the value is. Also, when we are calling a function and passing multiple arguments, we have to be very careful. The number of arguments in a call must match the prototype and also the definitions. Later, we will discuss about overloading a function where we have the same function name, but the argument doesn't match. Now, the first argument will be used to initialize the first parameter, the second argument to initialize the second parameter, etc. So that's the example here. We have a function named showSum. It takes 3 arguments, int. In the main function, we declare 3 variables named value 1, value 2, value 3, and we ask the user to enter values into those 3 variables. Then we call the function showSum. The values that we enter, we are going to pass it as argument for the showSum. So let's see what the showSum is doing. So the showSum, we print out the sum of num1 plus 2 num plus num3. So to add value 1, value 2, value 3 together. So we can see the output here. When user enter 487, it gives us 19 because that's again the sum of the 3 values. Also, we can use a returning statement to terminate a function. So here we say we use the returning statement to end execution of a function. We can place it anywhere in the function. But what happens is that anywhere we see it, the program will stop from there to end the execution. So statement that follow the returning statement would not be executed. Also, it can be used to prevent abnormal termination of program. Also, in a void function, without a returning statement, the function ends at its last. So if there's no returning, it goes all the way to the end. So here we have a function named divide. In the main function, we declare two variables, num1, num2, double. We tell user to enter the two values. Then we call the function divide, and the two values that we enter is the argument. Now let's look the function. Okay, so the function here is saying that if the argument 2, which will be the denominator, if it's equal to 0, sorry, we cannot divide by 0. So we return. So this means if user enter the second value to be 0, the execution will stop here. So the quotient CR statement here would not execute. And that's what we have here. We have 12 for the argument 1, 0. So since argument 2 equal to 0, we print out this statement. Sorry, I cannot divide by 0. Then we return. Next is we say a function can return a value back to the statement that called that function. And we have already seen that in our first few slides POW function, which is here. Now, in a value returning function, the returning statement can be used to return a value from function to the point of call. So this is example, we have a function named sum. It takes two arguments, num1, num2. We declare a third variable result. So we are going to add num1 and num2 and give the result to the variable name result. Then we'll return the result back to the function. So this will work very perfect for us. That's why also the returning type variable is int, and here is int. So here we have sum num1, num2. We can also say return num1 plus num2. So instead of declaring a third variable to put the result in and return the third variable, we can just return the addition. So here we say functions can return the values of expression, such as num1 plus num2. So that's example here. We have a function named sum. We declare the prototype, function prototype. And here we declare variable named value1, we assign 20, value 2, we assign 40, and we have a third variable total. Now we say total, we are going to call the function sum. And the sum we take the value 1 and 2, which is 20 and 30. The result we get, we assign to total because this function is going to return a result back to the function. So that result, either we can print it or we can save it in a variable. In this case, we want to save the result in a variable. Then we display the sum of 20 and 40 is 60. So let's see the function. So the function name is sum, num1, num2, and we return num1 plus num2. So the answer will be the sum of 20 and 40 is, and we call the function, we add the two together, we get 60. Also, we can return a Boolean value in a program. So here we have example, a function named bool is even, the data type is bool. So we declare variable val. We say get a number from the user, enter an integer, and I will tell you if it is even or odd. So saying we enter var. So now we have a function name is even. So well, the argument would be the value that we enter. So here it's going to check if it's even number. If it's not even, then it should be odd number then. So we can see the function here is even. Remember, the function returning type is bool. So we can say that if num1 modulus 2 equal to 0, which means if I divide the number by 2, if the remainder is 0, then we return true to the status. Else false, which means it's a odd number. So that's what we are. Enter an integer, and I'll tell you if it is even. We enter 5, and we say 5 is odd because we have the output here. If it's a odd number, then we're going to print 5 is odd. So that will be the conclusion of these lectures. Again, see you in the next lectures. Thank you for your time.